boys.
Sugar and spice simply ain't that damn nice. These are the actual arrest records of gals who love to beat up on, stab, shoot, run over with a car, poison, or kill men outright. Welcome to Assault on Manhood. Toronto, Canada. A bustling metropolis with its focal points being the Canadian National Tower and its base, the Rogers Centre Stadium, situated comfortably near the northern shore of Lake Ontario. Nicknamed Hogtown, Toronto is typically compared to a sister city, Chicago, Illinois, in size and population. But during the early morning hours of December 18, 2022, it would witness a Chicago-style murder that would draw unnecessary world attention. But I imagine wherever you come from, most of us will never get used to someone being murdered, especially a murder of innocence involving Ken Lee, an elderly man who was attacked by 8 girls at one time. The swarming-style attack occurred around 12:15 a.m. at the corner of York Street and University Avenue near the Strathcona Hotel, which serves as a homeless shelter. There, Lee and a female friend of his were just waiting to get into the homeless shelter simply to escape the winter's bitter cold. But if one were to try and paint the 59-year-old Lee as merely a homeless man, they would miss his entire freedom journey from Hong Kong to the largest refrigerator morgue in the Toronto city. You see, Lee had recently immigrated from Asia's world city over the summer to Toronto and was diligently working to find housing. Therefore, Lee could not be completely referred to as a homeless man because he also had a family in an area that he did not want to burden his responsibilities. A lot of guys want to stand on their own 2 feet, not on their family's 2 feet. This particular cowardice event that began with Lee's life being snuffed out occurred when he witnessed a female friend of his being harassed by a large group of girls. A lot of people don't think girls are aggressive. This will prove you wrong. The woman, who does not want to be named, was a resident at the homeless shelter Strathcona, out for a cigarette and a quick drink. Now, as a witness to the crime, she stated that she was minding her business, smoking a cigarette, when a group of girls approached her. She says the girls tried to take her alcohol from her. Coming to her aid, Lee told them to stop and leave her alone. She said that Lee protected her, which a lot of guys step up and do, even though they risk their life. The girls immediately turned on Lee, punched him repeatedly in a swarming practice popularized by young people on TikTok. The woman then said she removed herself from the area by walking away because she was frightened of one of the girls who was still trying to follow her. In other words, she left Lee behind. She said that she could see from her vantage point that Lee was bleeding in her own words. She says, "I didn't know if they had a knife or what. I was just scared," she said. In recounting her story, she said at a glance she believed they had stabbed him in the belly. A fist fight to a knife fight. She said she went into the shelter and brought him water afterwards as others rushed to flag down a passing ambulance that tended to Lee's wounds on the spot. Just luckily it was going by. She finished off by saying, "I didn't know he would die." Ken Lee was rushed to Toronto General Hospital, where the 59-year-old would succumb to his injuries and changed an assault case to a murder case concerning a Hong Kongi death. You killed somebody who was not even here as a permanent citizen. Lee's death would mark the city's 68th homicide on the year, but one made sadder because he was not a full citizen yet, nor attained the dream he had left his homeland a few months before to achieve. Toronto police would canvass the entire area and capture and arrest each and every one of those girls that participated in that swarming event that lasted all but 3 minutes. And it caused a lifetime of damage for everyone involved. 3 minutes for a lifetime. Additionally, police recovered a number of weapons from the girls, so they were fully armed. The mayor of Toronto said of the incident that he was deeply disturbed by the details of that particular case. Who wouldn't be? He said everyone in our city deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. He said, I am so sad to know that a man has lost his life in this way. Plus, it's a stain on the country that a foreigner had that happen to him. He said in that he was extremely troubled by the young age of those accused and by the number of people allegedly involved in the murder. He said, my thoughts are with the man's friends and all those who knew him as they mourn his loss, he added. What the mayor wanted to say for real is that no one would anticipate females doing such a thing. You see, society falsely believes that all aggressive crimes and murders are performed by angry men with a grudge. But facts that are present in every country on the globe today do not bear this out, except for the facts that they cover up in the media. All 8 girls arrested, ranging in age from 13 years old to only 16 years old, were charged with second-degree murder. The girls appeared in a court at Old City Hall on that same weekend where they were remained in the custody. And during the initial hearing in December of last year, one was granted bail, while the rest were scheduled for bail hearings this past January. The identities of the girls are protected under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, so we are not at liberty to show you any of their faces. Now, countries do this so that young people have a chance to turn their lives around once they get older, and therefore are not blamed for something that they did in their youth. Now, I wish we could say the same for Lee, who leaves behind a family and nieces and nephews that loved him dearly. This case was tricky for police because they believe the girls came from various parts of the city, but don't know how or why they met that night. Investigators also don't know how long the girls had known one another. Now, lead detective in the case said we really can't see what the connection is with these 8 young ladies right now. But our sense is, he said, right now, that there's probably some sort of social media component. Now, at one time, Canada did have a problem with young men doing this that they stopped years ago. And now the girls are copying. The detective said the girls were also involved in an altercation before the stabbing, describing their behavior as criminal. The early incident is believed to be similar in style and swarming, he said. Police believe the group had been in the area at least by 10:30 p.m., which was a full 3 hours before the murder of Lee. A pastor in that area said of Lee that nobody was surprised that he would stick up for somebody like that. And I've known people like that. At one time in my life, I too was homeless. Detective Sergeant Terry Brown stated back in December that authorities are choosing to change each of the teens, in this case, from something small to second-degree murder because each girl played a role in Lee's death. He said all 8 were together. All 8 were involved. He said, I won't say what each one individually did, but all 8 were together and participating in this event, which is disturbing. And I can say that, and I don't even live in Canada. Police have said 3 of the young girls had previous interactions with police, while 5 others did not. Police had no evidence that suggests that the girls knew the alleged victim, which makes this case even more disturbing. Because these are all the things in life women and girls do not want done to them. They don't want to be accosted in the night. They want to be raped in the night. They want to be murdered. And there has been a GoFundMe account set up for Lee's burial expenses and his final affairs, to which we will attach a link below in the description. Until next time, thank you for watching.
G baby, you know what?
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck.
Hot flame in this.
Yeah, and the bros, Nitro.
You already know.
With the nice flow, let's go.